Hey, good morning, everyone. Hello, it is Thursday today. We had FOMC minutes yesterday. Hope everyone had some fun watching that, watching the reaction. We're going to be just reviewing the chart in the next few minutes, so I'll take you through kind of what I'm looking for, what I look for, and then see how the day pans out today. I continue to be a little bit clunky on the keyboard because I still have my broken wrist, although it is feeling, well, significantly better. I think I'm around week 4 now, but it's still pretty sore, and the bandages kind of slow me down. And I'm a bit awkward on the keyboard, but let's see how it works out today. It's Thursday. It's March 20th. I'm here in Canada. The weather is well, significantly better than it has been the last few weeks. It feels like spring. Okay, I'm going to start on top-down analysis. I'm going to look at the daily. You can join me for this if you like. We did have some red folder news at 8:30 this morning. We had unemployment. The numbers came in as anticipated. There wasn't any big surprise there, so that's good news. There wasn't a significant drop. I've made some adjustments to my mic, and if you guys could let me know if the background noise is a little bit less than it has been, that would be terrific. So any comment or feedback would be awesome. Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening here on the daily time frame. So this was yesterday. We had a move up inside the previous day candle, and this is with the FOMC, the interest rate that was released at I think it was 2 o'clock, and then we had Powell speaking at 2:30. So overnight, price has been dropping. It's within this candle. So we are moving out of this daily SIBI here. The daily SIBI is between this candle, here's our middle candle, and here's our third candle. So this is the SIBI inside here. Price has been dropping down through that. We have 4-hour SIBI above us, and we have midnight above us. Here is our midnight vertical line. Get to that shortly. Let's move now down to the 4-hour for a little bit more information. On the 4-hour, you can see how price has been dropping. This is our previous day low. This was yesterday. This was our previous day low. So that could be a draw for price to move, possibly revisit the previous day low, or even drop below it. We don't know yet. We do have this SIBI here on the 4-hour between this candle and this candle. I'm not going to draw it in, but I'm keeping it in the back of my mind. I don't like to have too many things on my chart. I like to keep a chart that's relatively clear. Okay, so that's our 4-hour. That's what we're looking at. Prior to last night and yesterday, we've had a bit of a move up here. Okay, I'm going to go down to the 1-hour for even more information. So you can see Thursday we did not break the high of Monday. If we look, I've enabled sessions on my chart, so let me show you how you can do that. You click here, then you go into events and you can click on sessions. puts these lines in so you can kind of, it's a nice way of looking at dividing the days, right? So that we can see what's happening through the week. So Monday we made the high. We've not broken that high yet. Tuesday, price came down. Wednesday, we had some consolidation before we had a move up. And then Thursday, as I said, we did not break this high. And that price fell overnight. Here's our midnight. Here's our vertical line on midnight. So overnight, we have been primarily below midnight. What that means to me is I want to buy below midnight and I want to sell above midnight. That's one of my fundamental rules that I keep in the back of my mind. Okay, then on the 1 hour, let's just put in our fair value gaps. I'm going to put here 1 hour. So when I'm on the lower time frames, I don't get lost in terms of where I am. So we've got a 1 hour SIBI. Down here, what might be a drawn liquidity. Down here, we have multiple touches at around the 19660 level. Okay, now I'm going to drop down to the 5-minute. Be looking for my settlement price from yesterday. Here's my settlement price from yesterday. 414 was the last candle that settled. That was at 19,970. So I'm going to draw in the beginning formation of this. This is our org, and this is from Thursday, March 20th, and I will keep this on my chart. If we don't fill it today. And I'll just keep moving this and arrange this as we get closer to opening time. Right now it's 9:19. We will be opening at 9:30 this morning. Okay, so we've got our 9:30 SIBI on the 1 hour, sorry, a 1 hour SIBI here with our opening range gap here. Here's our Asia and London high. Asia trended last night and then London ranged. London was a consolidation. And sometimes when that happens, our power of three can be shifted over by one session. So might be looking this morning for manipulation. So it could be a manipulation on to the downside before trending up. But we don't know where price is going to go. All we can do is look for clues and cues of what the market is offering us. And it's up to us to be the scientist and figure out what the market is telling us. Okay, I'm going to put in my Asia high and low and my London high and low. So here's my Asia high. And I'm going to put in my Asia low. London high. I'm going to add just a little notation, Asia and London high, because they're pretty close together. I don't want to put another line on my chart, so I'll just put Asia high, London high. And then we're going to add London low. Right here. And then price dropped. We have our previous day low here. to put a few lines on the hourly for these wicks down here. So this is an hourly swing low. Actually mark this one as well, hourly swing low, because we've got liquidity below that. And then we have our third one down here, and we have one more down here, and I'm going to add this one, especially if price has an interest in dropping. I'm going to add this one as well, right there. So we've got some swing lows down here that may be harboring some liquidity, could be of interest to price this morning. I'm going to hide this daily SIBI. I'm mindful of it, but I'm going to take it off my chart for now. So I'm going to hide this from the hourly. I don't want to see it unless I'm on the daily. And we're significantly past this. I'm going to hide this as well. I don't want to see this. And that just cleans up my chart a little bit. I haven't deleted it, I've just hidden it. So if I go back to 4 hour or the daily, there they are. Okay, it's 9:23. Here's our org. So we have a discount opening range gap because price is below the settlement price from yesterday. So that's basically what I'm looking for. I'm going to just quickly move to the 1 minute, and I'm going to be looking for areas of liquidity, buy side and sell side, maybe of interest to price this morning. Where would price be interested in moving down to? Price could move down to the swing low here, so I'm just going to mark this. A sell side. I'm just going to put a 1 so that I know it's on the 1 minute. This is an area of interest here. Just call this buy side up here. We had multiple touches here. That actually kind of coincides with just below the 50% of this opening range gap here. So I'm going to add this. And I'm going to put a 1 because it's on the 1 minute. Got our midnight all the way up here. We have been, as you can see, Asia ranged, London ranged. Then we had some, I suspect, manipulation up here, and we have distribution. Now let's just see what price wants to do from here. Has it reached its bottom? Does it want to go a little bit lower? We don't know. Just follow the cues. Cues and clues. That's where we are. It was a nice move overnight. 5 a.m. this morning, if anyone jumped in on a pre-market, that was a nice ride down. Okay, good morning, Graceful Trade Journeys. Just setting up the chart for today. It's 9:26. I'm going to add my Fibonacci now to the opening range gap. We'll just see where the 25 and 50%. There we go. So here's our 50%. We have an area of interest here, which is buy side multiple times. Price has hit this area. So I'll be watching this area. It's a point of interest here. Or price could move down, maybe sweep this area first. Again, we don't know. We just have to wait and see. As always, in the morning, I like to use the Scarface 5-minute opening candle range strategy. And I'm just going to set up my 5-minute candle highs and lows, and then I just slide them into place. There, that's it. This down. Now this opening range gap is larger than 100 points. ICT says that when an opening range gap is greater than 100 points, price could just continue moving in the direction that it's been moving in. In other words, price could continue to move down and not even touch this opening range gap. So we'll have to see what happens. Meanwhile, it's Thursday. It's a sunny day in Canada. We'll take every sunny day that we can get. Temperatures have been nice. Hey, Lynn Trader 55. Hey, VPGM. Good to see you guys this morning. Thanks for joining. We've got market opening in 1 minute. Let's see where price wants to go. I never approach the morning thinking, I'm going to have a trade. I'm just always, I feel relaxed. I'm going to just watch price where it wants to go, understand what the draw on liquidity is, and just basically be patient. There's no rush to jump into a trade when price opens. There's lots of time. The day is young. So I'm on the 1 minute chart. I'm going to move my 9:30 a.m. line just over a little bit so that I can see the wick. So this is my first candle. It's my 9:30 candle. And I'm just going to mark the high in this candle. And we're going to wait for the first 5 candles to print, and we're going to mark the high and the low of that range. Here's our first candle. This is our second candle. Still has 49 seconds here to print. Looks like price might be interested coming down here into the sell side. We have all these swing lows here that we've noted on our chart as areas of interest. Price could be interested in. Also mindful that we have this opening range gap. And through ICT teachings, we know that there's a 70% chance that price will move to the 50% area of the gap between 9:30 and 10 a.m. And I just keep moving my line up because I want to find the high and the low of the first 5-minute range. So just keep moving my candle up. Third candle here. Approaching buy side up here. Lots of touches to the buy side early this morning. Price has touched numerous times. And our fourth candle is printing. Just moving up my 5-minute high candle level here. And we're going to put in our first fair value gap of the day. And our fifth and final candle is printing at this time. We'll see if it's going to make a higher move. Thanks, VP. Okay, our last 5-minute candle has 19 seconds left to print. And then we should see where price wants to gravitate towards. So we've just reached this buy side area here that we've noted. Just watching to see the reaction of price. See if price rejects or if it moves higher. And the break and retest is a very simple strategy. It is not my strategy, it's Scarface's strategy. And you can go to his YouTube channel. He has some great tutorial videos on his strategy. And this is just one that I've been using for, I guess, about 4 months now. It takes at least 6 months to a year to get, really good at trading one particular strategy. So I've made the commitment that every morning I'm going to be at least looking to see if there's an opportunity for a trade here. And I'll continue to do this like for the next 5 months. Probably beyond that. I actually really like this strategy. So what are we looking for in the break and retest strategy? Well, it's very simple. We want to see price move up, come back down, retest this area, and then we would want to see a very strong rejection from this area. We want to see buyers step in and go long. That's what we'd be looking for. Conversely, price might come back down here, break below this 5-minute candle strategy, this 5-minute candle line right here, retest, and then we want to see a nice strong displacement away from there, and that would be to the downside. That's basically the strategy. It's very simple, very duplicatable, very mechanical, and it has been Scarface's bread and butter strategy. And he says that, you know, multiple times in every video that he posts. So we're getting a bit of rejection. Price did not move much further up than here. Just gonna take a look and see what ES is doing. I moved to the new contracts. So we should be in June 2025. Here's our ES. Oh, switching. I want to get rid of that blue background, so I'm just going to go here. Just find it. Symbol. Electronic trading hours. I just want to get rid of the blue. Okay. Okay, so we've had some rejections here. We've had, you can see we've got some strong wicks. Price tried to push up, and then immediately sellers stepped in and pushed price down. Got our first fair value gap here. Price has come to the 50% of the opening range gap. So if that's a strategy that you trade, that's good. I don't trade that strategy per se. In other words, I use this knowledge to help me with my Scarface strategy of the break and retest. Graceful trade journeys. When someone asks me what my bias is, I guess I have to be more definitive. So as a day trader, I'm looking at bias on the daily, the 4-hour, and the 1-hour. And that's why I go through my top-down analysis, basically. And then, but what's more important to me is I am looking to see where price might draw to. It's probably not a great answer. What ME 47? Morning to you too. Good handle. What ME? Tell ME. So we've come up, price, sellers immediately stepped in, price has pushed up again. I would want more confirmation before going long. Like I want to see a good push up back here to retest. It's 9:41. We do have a macro at 9:50. If I'm going long or short for the day, I'm waiting for the 9:50 to get that little push before I make that decision. And I would be looking for a 5-minute break of structure. But right now, I'm just focused on the 5-minute candle strategy. That's all I'm really looking at here. So here's my 5-minute high, here's my 5-minute low. I'm just waiting to see price break either above, come back and retest, and then push up again, or come down to the 5-minute low. I really want to see like more strength here. A little bit choppy on ES as well. But ME 47, you're looking at sell side at 19,705. Yeah, I have my swing lows marks here as well. Could potentially. What I notice in this price action here is we don't have any fair value gaps in here. You know, price is pretty tight. It's not making bold moves. It's not making assertive moves. There's no fair value gaps in here. There is here our first fair value gap, but this is choppy. This is to me non-definitive. This is we could reverse down. You know, this is not what I want to see for me to get involved in this. So I'm just continue to watch. Just a reminder, everyone, to smash that like button. This is not a call service. I am an ICT student. I have been for 16 months and continue to be. You definitely do not want to copy my trades. You're better off having your own strategy and taking trades in sim until you feel good enough to be in the live market or otherwise. So just want to reiterate that for everybody. We're all free thinkers here, independent thinkers. Everyone here is a smart person. Let's take a look on the 5 minute here. So we had a big push up. I don't love this price action. Again, it's just very up and down and no fair value gaps. So just patiently waiting to see what price wants to do, where it wants to move. Price is pushing up to the 75% range of the opening range gap. The cake's suspicious price action. I like it. Suspicious price action. Wait for this candle to finish printing. We have 17 seconds left. We may have a fair value gap here. Now we are in the 1 hour fair value gap. So this is a SIBI that we had marked on our chart from this morning. Nope, just content to continue to wait and watch. I'm looking at ES as well. Yesterday, I was on the stream with Awake FX, Shane. Yes, I think you guys know him. He's so nice and calm and patient. I've learned a lot from Shane over the past year and a half. And he has great training videos. You know, if you want training video on, I don't know, turtle soup or silver bullet, his training videos are really very clear. It's a good channel. If you haven't seen him, you could check him out. But I'm sure everyone here has traded at some point or, you know, been on Shane's live stream at least once. I would like to see price come back here to this 5-minute area, retest, and then with a very nice strong candle to the upside. That's what I would want to see. Don't know that we're going to get that strength, but we've got a fair value gap here. Got a busy. Suspicious price action. I think we need to adopt that. Price is respecting this busy. Just going to move to the 5-minute for a second here. And I just want to see if price has broken 5-minute break of structure. So we have our low here. We have our high here. Just going to put this line in for my own benefit. To 950. Got the macro starting. Just kind of looking at this area here, this move down from London. This could be manipulation here and then distribution up. Could be. Again, this price action in here, a little bit weak. I mean, this BISI is holding price. Do have an order block here. So we've got these 4 candles here that form an order block. If price is going to continue upwards, I want to see price come down into the 50% discount area before moving higher. But again, very lackluster in here. There's no fair value gaps other than this one. We want to see some definitive movement, some directional movement. You know, price wants to get somewhere. Just at the 75% of this opening range gap. We have our 4-hour SIBI up here. We have midnight still above us. We have Asia and London high up here. This was our previous day high on yesterday. This was the high of the day yesterday, right up here. It's 9:54. Not a lot of movement considering that we're in the macro right now, you know. When in doubt, sit and observe and do nothing. I want to wait for those A+ setups where price is definitive, showing me what it wants to do and where it wants to go. So I'd like to see price come back here if it wants to continue higher. Price is back into this BISI. Bit of a rejection from there. Again, we have no fair value gaps in here. It's very biddy price action. Unattractive price action, suspicious price action. Let's see if price wants to come down at least to the 50%. Now you can put a GAN box on this from the low to the high. There's the 50%, right, in here. So I want to see price come back at least down to this fair value gap or order block before reversing. GAN box is a nice tool to use because it just gives you that quick 50%. You can change whatever color you want. You just open it up and change the color. So here's our 50%. Just gotta take that off for now so we don't have too many levels of things on our chart. Let's see if this becomes an inverted fair value gap or if this BISI is going to hold. I'm going to move the opening range gap. I'm going to get rid of the portion that's already been filled by today. Filled up to here. This is the unused portion. Just noticing the price action, you know, the wicks down, the wicks up, wicks down, wicks up. This is not price action that I want to be involved with. This for me is just sit and wait and see. ICT often says when there's a big move down or up in a previous session, that price may uh, range for the next session, and it may be prudent to wait for the afternoon to see if there's a better opportunity. This is my 5-minute high, and I would want to see a higher high made with strength, and I'm just not seeing that. It's a very weak 5-minute break of structure. Okay, a little bit of a push up. Here's the settlement price from yesterday. You know, we haven't even moved up towards the settlement price with any great energy. Almost finished filling this gap, pretty much. So I'm going to take that off my chart. Price pushing up to this 1 hour CB, moving up towards midnight. New day opening gap. Let's take a look. Yep, so we just filled this. Thank you, Graceful Trade. We just filled this new day opening gap from March 19th. There's another one above us. There's the March 17th one up here in this 4-hour CB. Yeah, we've just reached the settlement price from yesterday. This is where price closed. It's 10:02. Started the kill zone. I love the names that ICT has. A kill zone. price pushing up. I never regret not taking a trade when price movement is a big lackluster, but what I do regret is taking a trade impulsively or without waiting for like a really great setup. I'd rather just not have those regrets. Go back to the 5-minute chart. Here's my high. It's a 2-candle high. And I don't have another high that's created yet on the 5-minute. This is the last 5-minute high here. Moving into or tapping into at least the new day opening gap from March 17th. They're busy. See if this busy holds or if price wants to invert from here. So if we look at the movement from this morning, draw our fib from price, take it to the top here, look for the OTE, optimal trade entry area. Where would price pull back to potentially? We look at the 62 to 79%. This would be our OTE area right here. If price wanted to pull back, this would be the 62 to 79%. The price could retrace back to and then continue up. It doesn't have to. It could just continue moving on up. Hey, good morning, Tandy, otherwise known as Mozambique. Tandy, you're just joining us now, but here's the 5-minute candle high. Price didn't really explode out of here with great strength, so I did not Here's the 5-minute candle high here. I did not enter this trade this morning. I wasn't feeling great about the price action. Lacked a little bit of energy for me. So just watching price move up, tapping into the new day opening gap from March 17th. And again, we are in this is a 4-hour SIBI. Here's my OTE. I'm just going to keep this on my chart. Watching ES. So far, it's in sync with NQ. Might have a pullback here. I'm going to mark up the SIBI here into quadrants, just so we get a sense of where the 50% is. %50 is just below midnight and just below Asia and London high. This might be trying to make order block here, but it's pretty messy. It's got long wicks, and on the 1 minute, it's not one that I would completely trust, but just draw it out for you here. Okay. Low, higher high, but not by much. It's a wick. I want to see a body, a candle body. Then if price were to dip below this low, which it may or may not do, but that would be potentially what a breaker block might look like, but it's not there yet. It's also nice just to zoom out and get an idea of where we are. This London high, Asia high could be the drawn liquidity. And it's not going to get there in one big move. It's going to retrace, move a little higher, retrace, move a little higher. But this could be where price wants to go. And that would take us to midnight, and it would also take us to just above the 50% of this hourly CIBI. Consolidation here. Let's draw our OTE again. Just making sure, I just want to make sure that my OTE is still in the correct location. Okay, I'll push down. Give us a high, low, higher, high, lower, low. Just going to draw in just for fun what the bearish breaker would look like. At this point, I'm not prepared to act on this because it's a weak bearish breaker. Notice that there is not a fair value gap in the opposing leg, and there's not a fair value gap here. We have these long wicks. So this is a low quality bearish breaker in my opinion. So it's not one, see, and we've just broken above it. You have to be careful with breaker blocks, especially on the lower time frames. Anything is more trustworthy on the higher time frame. And breaker blocks are higher. I'm just going to remove this because we've gone through it. Now, it could be a bit of a mohawk in return, but I think price is still pretty bullish. So I'm just going to get rid of that. But I have been trading breaker blocks for consistently for 16 months because I really like them. They're pretty high quality. But you have to discern between which are the breaker blocks that are the ones that are higher quality and which are lower quality. So we have no fair value gaps in here. We have a lot of wicks. I would rather see a breaker block would form strong body movements above and below. And we didn't get it. We didn't get it here. So this is not something I would trust. What does make a nice high quality breaker block is when price taps in and sweeps liquidity, and then the breaker block forms, gives us some nice fair value gaps inside the breaker block, and that would be a unicorn. And that is, when that forms nicely after sweeping liquidity, that's a very nice strategy to use. It's a high quality strategy. In fact, ICT says it's one of the highest quality strategies that there is in the ICT portfolio. And that is my bread and butter. That's a strategy that I look for. It's the formation that I look for. I hope everyone has had a great week so far. It's, when we have FOMC, we have an opportunity to have some volume in the market, but it can be stressful with the wicks really moving. You have to just kind of wait for your strategy to come to you instead of chasing it. Yeah, I've got another fair value gap here. Another busy. I like to add exactly what I'm doing. If I wasn't with you guys, this is how I mark up my chart. And this is how I'm engaged with price rather than just watching price move up and down or do its thing. I actually add my PD arrays. I remove the ones that are no longer relevant because this is my way to stay engaged with price, with the market, and any potential changes that may happen. And so this is my modus operandi, even if I was not live streaming with you guys today. Just want you to know that this is how I engage with price on a daily basis. My dog Pie went for his grooming yesterday. He's a good looking boy with a nice short haircut. He looks good. So we're at the 25% level of this 1 hour CB. Again, I'm still bullish. We're still bullish. We had some consolidation through here. Price is definitely bullish. We have not changed directions yet. Not had a reversal. Not had a really good pullback. Getting some long wicks into this BISI up here. Price came down, tapped into it, and immediately rejected. That's a strong bullish sign. If price breaks below here, then we have the potential. Oh, looks still bullish here. But we have a high, low, higher high. If price were to break below here, we might get a bearish breaker. We don't know. We'll just have to wait. But for now, everything is pointing towards bullish. It's 10:22. Been a sort of a slow meander up, hasn't it, this morning? Prices moving up just kind of slowly. We've got a few good fair value gaps here, but a lot of chop, a lot of wicks up and down. Doesn't look too bad when you're not in the trade, but when you're in the trade and you have a wick that looks like this, this is the wick that takes out your stop. This is what causes the anxiety and the frustration, right? It looks small when you're not in a trade, but when you're the one in a trade, this is the kind of price action that will take you out easily. And we're just coming up to the London and Asia high, which is the 50%, just below the 50% with 1 hour shipping. Big push up. Still moving up. Anyone feel FOMO on days like this? Feel like you missed out on a run up? I used to. I don't anymore. Because I know if I had gotten into this trade at the 5 minute candle high here, it was very wicky. Consolidation through here. This would have been a nice push up. Consolidation through here, little push up, but I want to be in and out of a trade faster. I want price to move faster. Exactly, Tandy. I didn't see anything that I loved. For me, I didn't see an A plus for my style of trading or for my strategies that I like to use. I want to wait for the reversal that's going to come this afternoon, later today. Could be through the lunch, could be through the lunch hour. Although I don't generally trade through the lunch hour, but I start to look for a trade in the afternoon at about 1 o'clock, about 1 o'clock to 1:15. And I really like those days where the trade sets up earlier than anticipated. Like I like a 1:15 Get a nice reversal, a nice unicorn, at 115. It's a little unexpected. Normally, you'd kind of want to wait till 150, get that macro again, and then the 2 p.m. kill zone. But it's nice when you get those earlier setups. I'm trying to think this week. I think it was the day before FOMC, so I think it was Tuesday. I had a really nice setup between 1 p.m. and 1:15. You're in and you're out. Price moves down, you get that nice unicorn, take the trade, you're in, you're out, goodbye. Time to do other things for the day. Feels like time is moving slow this morning. It's only 10:28. Feel like I've been watching grass grow for the past half an hour. Lynn, trader 55, totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. I see these movements. They're not exciting to me. I stopped chasing price like a long time ago. I think that's more of a new trader fear of missing out kind of thing. But when you have your strategy and you trust your strategy and you wait for your strategy to reveal itself, it makes trading a lot more relaxed, a lot more fun. Trading should be fun. I think trading is fun. I think trading is fun when price action is, respecting the PD arrays, and that's what makes trading fun for me. You're focused on the process. You're not focused on the dollar amount. You're focused on the process. You're focused on what would be my entry, what would be my exit, how am I going to manage this trade, all of those things that make trading fun. Okay, so price has moved down into this fair value gap. We did hit the midnight. We wicked off of it. We're still bullish. There's been no change of trend or direction yet. It's 10:30. Just going to draw my fib again. I'm going to check my OTE. Going to move this up 62 to 79%. Just make sure that's accurate. See if we get an inverted fair value gap here. We invert. If this fair value gap does not hold, right now it's holding. We had a little bit of a mohawk here with a wick outside it, but that's entirely permissible. Showing signs of weakness, because if price was still very strong bullish, it wouldn't want to come past the 50% of this BISI. It would, dip in, but stay in the top quadrant of this BISI. So in my view, we're showing a little bit of weakness here. And this one SIBI up here, again, we don't have fair value gaps, any more fair value gaps down here. Waiting to see if this busy invalidates, meaning that price inverts. That would be an indication or a clue that price may want to drop. Would have liked to have seen maybe price tap back into the SIBI. A lot of things I would have liked to have seen today, but I'm not seeing. Okay, getting a rejection here. We've disrespected this fair value gap. We have a SIBI up here. An observation that I'm just going to make is that when I look at the liquidity along this leg up, it's a little bit mixed, isn't it? We have some high resistance liquidity like these areas here. Low resistance liquidity is when you have these nice big candles, these nice big fair value gaps, and you have them all the way down. That is low resistance liquidity, and price, moves down through that rather quickly. But because we've been a little bit choppy moving up with these areas of accumulation in here, this is not the greatest, it's not the best liquidity. It's not low resistance. Low resistance, when we have low resistance liquidity, we have these big, nice fair value gaps, and price, predictably just drops and drops rather quickly through them. And that makes a really nice trade. So it's just something that I notice on the chart, something that we should all be looking for. Because if we decide to go short, if I'm not going short now, it's still bullish, but I want a trade that's going to not give me a bunch of anxiety on the way down with long wicks. I want that nice rundown, that low resistance liquidity. But here we are, back up into this little SIBI here. This may have tapped back in here. Let's see if we go lower. Might. It's 10:37. No, no, no. Price is still bullish. We don't have much to go on here. There we go, pushing on up. VP, 100%, 100%. You know that feeling when you take a really high quality trade and it just feels easy? You just feel like this is too easy. Like this is just ATM is just printing money. Like that's when you know you've waited for a good trade, it works out, it's predictable, you've done your analysis and you feel really, really good about it. That to me is the feeling that I like to feel when I take a trade. And anything less than that, I'm risking my money in the market and I don't want to do that. And again, I've got ICT's voice in my head that says, look, if there's a big run in the session before the current session, you might be better off waiting for the afternoon session. Might just, so just looking here, high, low, higher high. It's not even a good higher high yet. Yeah, right, VP, when you have that nice setup and you are just feeling like the stars are aligning, it's a really, really good feeling. And it feels easy. You just think to yourself, holy cow, that trade just felt easy. Sometimes I have days like that. Do you guys have days like that where you might take like 4 trades and they all work out and you think to yourself, like, price is just so predictable today. Looking here again, waiting to see if we get, some sort of potential reversal. We've got a high, we've got a low, but this high is not substantially higher over here. We did not close above this high with bodies. Again, low quality. If this turns out to be a bearish breaker, it's low quality. I think we're still flirting with price moving higher. $10.41. Let's see what happens at the 10.50 macro. Let's see if price can push up. We're just below the Asia and London high. See if price can come up here and sweep this liquidity. And also mindful that the previous day high is just above that as well. Let's see what happens. We've got a nice little push up on this candle. ES is in sync with NQ. Let's see. Let's see if we get a sweep here. If that gives us a sweep and a potential reversal, or if price wants to continue and grab this liquidity while we're up here. 10:43. Curious to see if the macro will just give it a bit of a push to this previous day high. I'm also noticing here that we've had one push up, two push up. This is the third push up. We've just pushed above midnight again, and I say this every day. When price is below midnight, we want to buy. When it's above midnight, we want to sell. That's I think that concept was drilled into me by Mulhand Trading. I watched his videos to learn how to trade London and Asia session. I think he lives in London. Mulhand is spelled Mulhand. Have you guys ever watched Mulhand? His trading of London and Asia is really top notch. He's a really experienced trader. He talks about this concept of wanting to sell when price is above midnight and buy when price is below midnight. I think I mentioned that earlier this morning when I said midnight is up here, so it's a potential day for bullishness. Three minutes before the macro starts. Let's see if it gives price a little bit of push to get to that previous day high, FOMC previous day high, or if we have a pullback. I'd like a pullback this afternoon. I might be back at 1 o'clock or 1:15 for potential pullback reversal. You can just see the beginning signs of price getting a little weaker. Smaller size candles, no fair value gaps. Could be the beginning signs of potentially some weakness. The macro starts in 2 minutes. Let's see if it gives enough push to get up here to the previous day high. We're just below the 75% level of this SIBI. Yes, right in sync with NQ this morning. If we were to have a breaker block here, this is what it would look like. We would have a high, low, higher high. We'd want to see a lower low. And then we would want to see price come back into the bearish breaker and then go lower. That's what it would look like. In a perfect world, that's what a breaker block looks like. That's what a breaker looks like. Here's our bearish breaker. We have a high, a low, a higher high, a lower low. Price comes back into the breaker and then moves lower. So you can take a screenshot of this if you're not comfortable with breakers yet, but that's a bearish breaker. That's what I'm looking for a reversal. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm patiently waiting for. And it has to be at the right time. Now, got our macro starting 1050, 1051. Price is respecting this busy. Let's see this candle, this green candle here. We have 37 seconds on it, but let's see if it gives us a SIBI. Right. Yeah, something like in here. These are the times you want to be careful. You don't want to, price has been so bullish, you don't want to jump into a bearish position because, gosh, I've done that one too many times when learning this. You want to have confirmation that price has switched directions. Let's just quickly take our fib again, make sure we have our 69% in the right location. In case we have a potential pullback. High, low, higher high. Let's see a lower low. Price come back into here and then drop. Now also bear in mind it's 10:53. I don't like to take trades at 11 o'clock, but normally I would like to have had my trade for the morning and have been done, but well, we can only deal with what the market gives us, right? So high, low, higher, high. Let's see if we get a lower low. also look at it this way. High, low, higher high, and just break below this lower low here. High, low, higher high, lower low, possibly. $10.54. Hypothetically, if this was our bearish breaker, hypothetically, that would be our breaker. We have a fair value gap in here, and we do have a fair value gap in here. Small one, albeit. I don't love this setup. And I'm not going to stay in it long. I'm just, I need to know. It's not, I don't think it's a great setup, but I'm out. I'm happy. I'm content with enough. Um, this is what I'm talking about with uh, low resistance liquidity and high resistance liquidity. See how price is just retracing, retracing, retracing instead of dropping. You know, like I want to see limousines going downtown. And you see how price is just retracing back up. You know, it's creating balanced price ranges. I want to see price drop so quickly that it has no chance of doubling back on me. So I'm content with enough. I take my $500. That's my trade for the morning. I'm good with that. Could price come all the way back into the OTE? Yes, it could. But it could also double right back on me into the bearish breaker. And that's the other thing that I'd like to mention is that this is the first drop out of the bearish breaker. Often price will return to the bearish breaker and it will give us another opportunity to drop from here. Uh, so I'm mindful of time. It's 11:02. We've been moving up, albeit, you know, painfully this morning. If price were to come back into the bearish breaker, I might look at taking a short again. Ultimately, I'd like price to come down to the optimal trade entry area here, but we may not get here because it's 11:02. And remember with ICT, it's time and price. Time is first, price is second. So we want to have time on our side. I'm willing to be patient and wait for this afternoon for a nice either true reversal, but I want to wait for, you know, I'm going to come back and look at the chart at starting around 1 o'clock, 1:15, see if I can get something a little more definitive. But price may come back up into this bearish breaker block. That's usually what it does. And sometimes sometimes a breaker block can give us 3 opportunities. You know, it'll move back in, it'll drop again, it'll move back in and drop again. And I would rather take my profit. If price comes back up into the bearish breaker, I'll enter the trade again. But I don't want to ride that wave up and down because then my stop loss would have to come up here. Truly, a stop loss needs to come above the bearish breaker. But for me, I'm trading with a small account. I'm only trading with 1 mini. I'm not risking more than 0.05% of my account. I know what my risk is on each trade, and you should know what your risk is for each trade. So I'm willing to wait for price to come back into the bearish breaker and then take the exact same trade again. So I just wanted to share that with you in terms of that's what I look for. That's how I'm trading with my account. And everyone's got to figure out what works for them based on, you know, whether they're in Sim, whether they're in Top Step, Apex, whatever it is, you know, whatever you're dealing with or managing in your own personal trading journey. I know what works for me at this point, and you need to figure out what works for you. And when you figure out what works for you, that's when the magic starts to happen. See how price is retracing back up like this? Look, it's not giving us any fair value gaps. Price comes down, retraces, down, retraces. Like there's no fair value gaps in here. I'm happy to get out where I did. I don't want to be riding this roller coaster. But if it comes back up, I'm not opposed to entering the trade again and going down. Now we may come down to the OTE here. We may, price may come all the way down here. And that's why we're putting the OTE on our chart, right? So we watch price move up. There's no FOMO. We're not like, damn, I should have taken that trade. I didn't like it. I didn't like the price action. It wasn't right for my strategy for me as a trader. But we were patient, and then we waited for price to sweep above Asia and London, get this nice displacement down, come back up into this little fair value gap here, draw our bearish breaker. I made the decision just knowing in my mind it's going to be a scalp for me today. Just looking at this high resistance liquidity, I was just looking for a scalp. On a different day, I'd want price to come all the way down to here, and it may very well. But I've had too many days in my trading journey where I get greedy, I stay in too long, price reverses on me, and you guys have seen it. If you've been trading with me live, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're like, put your trailing stop on. But I have the mindset, I'm a trader that wants to take 40, 60, 80, 100, 150 points. I scalp. Scalping is not my first priority, but I will scalp when the market dictates to me that it is the better option. And you have to figure out what your trading strategy is, what works for you, what works for your, whatever it is you're dealing with. And it could be sim, it could be, like I say, top step, apex. If you're trading top step apex, then you're looking for short trades, you're looking for scalps because you have to deal with trailing drawdown, which is, which is why you want to keep your trade short. But let's see if price, it's 11:07. Like, I'm not looking to be engaged in the market at this point, but I'd like to see it hit back into this bearish breaker and then drop again. Anyway, blue collar penmanship, nice to see you this morning, going through the ICT training you recommended. Okay, awesome, mind blowing. Just a quick thanks. Hey, I felt the same way. I had someone in my trading group introduce all of us to ICT. It would have been September of 2023. September 2000, yeah, September 2023, and it blew my mind. Like, that's when I embarked on my journey, and I call it the PhD of price action. And it really opened my eyes to how price moves, what market structure looks like, what healthy market structure looks like, when I want to stay out of the market. And, there's a lot of traders, a lot of YouTubers on, I guess, online now. And I connected, I think, with Michael Huddlestone. I just think he's legitimate. And I don't listen to what other people say. I have to make up my own mind after I study something. Is this working for me or is it not working for me? And ICT works for me. Call it what you want. I don't care. There's going to be haters for everything, unfortunately. And it's too bad that you have haters in this space, right? I like to use the expression, you don't have to hate one to love another. I think there's a lot of room for a lot of different trading styles based on your personality, your character, your time. You know, there's a lot of ways to bake a cake, and you just need to find what works for you and be consistent with that. I'm horribly curious here to see if price is going to dip back into here. Here's our fair value gap up here. Okay, so price could come all the way back up here. Price could come all the way back up here. That's why you need to be careful when you're dealing with breaker blocks. Ideally, our stop loss is above the breaker block, but that makes for a very large stop loss, right? And depending on what your, I know, call me crazy, but I'd like to, I'm going to take it one more time. I'm not staying in this long, if much at all. Don't like this time of day. I don't like anything about this, but let's see if we can get one more run out of this. Okay, I'm out. I wanted to try it again. It's just the time, it's 11:13, and ICT is time and price, not price and time. Might come back up to here. Okay, guys, I'm done for the morning. That was like a slog this morning. I felt like we've been here forever. And let's see what VP says here. People like to beat their chest, but trading isn't about that. It's about the battle within yourself. 100% VP. Oh my God, is that the truth or what? There's a lot of great strategies that work, but we have to know ourselves. And, I've had plenty of days where I've had to, really have like a hard talk with myself because I've either been impatient or I have things about my personality that have been holding me back from trading. And I think you have to be a really courageous person to like have those honest conversations with yourself. And that comes through journaling. And I do a lot of journaling. And journaling has really helped. And I know, a lot of people think journaling is for sissies, but journaling is like the one place that you can be totally honest with yourself. And you need to be honest with yourself in trading. So anyway, thanks for sharing that, VP. I couldn't agree more with you. So guys, have an awesome rest of the day, and I'll be back tomorrow. See what the market has for us tomorrow. So have a great day, and thanks for joining me. And please like, share, subscribe, help me build the channel. I'd appreciate that. All right, then. Talk to you later. Bye for now.